Picture this. Two men, same city, same neighborhood, same rent, but one of them is slowly drowning while the other one sleeps like a baby every single night, and the one who is drowning earns almost twice as much money. Let that hit you for a second. The first man earns $95,000 a year. Walk into his apartment and you'll see a 75-inch television bolted to the wall like a trophy, a leather sectional sofa that swallowed $4,000 whole, a kitchen packed with appliances still sitting in their original boxes, never opened, never used, closets so stuffed with clothes that half of them still have price tags dangling off them, a spare bedroom that stopped being a bedroom a long time ago and became a graveyard for things he bought, got excited about for 2 weeks, and never touched again. Every morning, this man picks up his phone, opens his banking app, and feels his stomach drop. He is 2 missed paychecks away from everything falling apart. 2. That is how thin the line is between his lifestyle and total disaster. The second man earns $52,000 a year. Walk into his apartment and the first thing you notice is that you can actually breathe. There is space, a simple couch, a normal television, a kitchen with only the things that actually get cooked with, a closet with clothes that actually get worn. The spare bedroom is an actual bedroom. This man opens his banking app and feels something that most people have completely forgotten how to feel. Calm, real, deep, unshakable calm. He has 18 months of expenses sitting in savings. He invests 20% of every single paycheck before he spends a single dollar on anything else. Same neighborhood, same rent, but the man earning nearly half as much has almost 10 times the financial security. Let that sit with you, because what I just described to you is not a story about luck. It is not a story about who got the better job or who had rich parents or who got some big break. This is a story about a hidden relationship between the things you own and the money you never seem to keep, and almost nobody understands it until it is far too late. My name is John, and if you follow and apply what I am about to share with you, I promise your relationship with money will never be the same again. Follow along, because this might be the most important thing you hear this year. The first man is not a bad person. He does not gamble. He does not have some wild secret addiction eating through his paycheck. He just quietly, gradually built a life that needs every single dollar he earns just to stay standing, like a house of cards, beautiful to look at from the outside, one strong wind away from collapse. The second man discovered something that completely rewired how he lives. He figured out that owning less does not mean living worse. It actually means living better, but on your own terms. It means making choices with intention instead of impulse. And when you start living that way, something extraordinary happens. You create space between what you earn and what you spend. And that space is where real wealth is built. That space is where freedom lives. So, let me walk you through the rules that separate men who always seem to have money from men who are always wondering where it went no matter how much they make. And I need to start with an idea that will completely change the way you think about every purchase you make from this point forward. Ready? Everything you own costs you money twice. Read that again if you need to. The first cost is the one you already know. It is the price tag, the number on the receipt, the amount that leaves your account when you tap your card. That part is obvious. But the second cost is everything that comes after the purchase. Storage, maintenance, the mental energy it drains from you, and the opportunity cost of what that money could have been doing instead. Think about a treadmill. You buy it with the best intentions. New year, new you, all of that. But that treadmill takes up roughly 20 square feet of your home when you account for the space around it. Space in most cities costs between $30 and $50 per square foot every year. So that treadmill is quietly costing you between $600 and $1,000 a year just to sit there and hold your laundry. The purchase price was just the entry fee. The rent never stops. Now think about a boat. A $30,000 boat needs to be winterized, cleaned, registered, insured, and repaired. The rule of thumb in the industry is that you spend about 10% of a boat's value every single year just to maintain it. That's $3,000 per year for a boat that might sit in your driveway untouched for months. You are paying $3,000 for something you barely use. And that's before you factor in the trailer, the towing vehicle upgrades, the fuel, the safety gear, and everything else a boat quietly demands from your wallet. But wait, it goes even deeper than that. Every item you own takes up a tiny piece of your mental attention. It needs to be cleaned, organized, maintained, insured, worried about, and eventually gotten rid of. Researchers have actually found that visual clutter raises your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and reduces your brain's ability to think clearly. Your stuff is literally making you more anxious and less sharp, and you can't even feel it happening. It's working on you in the background like a slow leak. And then there's the cruelest cost of all, opportunity cost. Every dollar that is sitting inside a possession you own is a dollar that is not growing. That $15,000 home gym you built in your garage could have been $15,000 in index funds. Over 15 years, that money could have grown to $50,000 or more. You didn't just buy a home gym, you traded your future financial freedom for a gym you probably use 2 weeks a week if you're being honest with yourself. When you add all of this up, a lot of the things people own end up costing more over time than they cost to buy in the first place. The purchase price is just the door. The ongoing costs are the hallway that never ends. People who have figured this out are not walking around miserable and deprived. They've just done the math, and the math told them that most things are not worth it. So here's the first shift in thinking you need to make before you buy anything from now on. Before you spend money on something, ask yourself how many times you will realistically use it. Be brutally honest. Then divide the total cost by that number. That gives you the real cost per use, and that number will tell you the truth that the price tag never will. A $200 jacket you wear twice costs you $100 every single time you put it on. A $400 jacket you wear 200 times costs you $2 per wear. The more expensive jacket is actually the cheaper one in any way that actually matters. The math cuts through straight emotion, marketing, and the thrill of buying something new. A $300 kitchen gadget you use twice a year costs you $150 every time you take it out of the cabinet. Meanwhile, a $30 knife you use every single day costs you less than a penny per use after a couple of months. A $2,000 mattress you sleep on every night for 10 years costs you about 55 cents per use. That's not expensive. That's one of the smartest purchases a person can make. A $1,500 espresso machine you use every morning for 5 years costs less than $1 per use and almost certainly saves you money compared to buying coffee every day. The math is honest even when your emotions are not. Use it. Now, walk through your home right now in your head. Look at the things around you, and for each one, ask yourself this one question. If this disappeared today, would I actually go spend money to replace it? Not could you, would you? Be honest with yourself. Would you go buy another fondue set? Would you replace that bread maker sitting at the back of the cabinet gathering dust? Would you go back out and buy those clothes you haven't worn in a year and a half? For most of the things in most people's homes, the honest answer is no, they wouldn't replace them. These things exist in their lives not because they are useful or wanted, but because of inertia. They were impulse buys, gifts they felt too guilty to throw away, remnants of hobbies they tried for a month and abandoned, old versions of themselves that they have since outgrown. These things have a negative value. They are not neutral. They are actively costing you space, mental energy, and money to store and maintain without giving you anything back in return. Every hour you spend cleaning around them, reorganizing them, or even just looking at them is an hour stolen from something that actually matters to you. Get rid of everything that fails this test. Sell what has value, give away what someone else could actually use, throw out what serves nobody. The process feels uncomfortable at first, then it feels like taking a full breath of air after being underwater. Rooms feel bigger, your mind feels quieter. Cleaning your home takes half the time, and you always know where everything is, because everything that remains actually has a reason to be there. Now here's a pattern that is absolutely wrecking the finances of men who earn good money. They upgrade things that work perfectly fine. The television works great, but the new model has slightly sharper picture. The phone does everything it needs to do, but the new release has a slightly better camera. The car starts every morning without fail, but this year's model looks a little different. The furniture is perfectly comfortable, but they're bored of looking at it. These upgrades feel like forward movement. They feel like improvements. They're are actually silent wealth destruction dressed up as progress. The real rule is simple. Never replace something that still does its job. A phone that makes calls, runs your apps, and sends your messages does not need to be replaced because a newer phone exists. A car that gets you from one place to another reliably does not need to be replaced because your neighbor bought something flashier. Think about what this costs over a lifetime. The average person replaces their phone every 2 to 3 years, even while the old one works perfectly. Over 30 years, that habit alone costs between $30,000 and $50,000. When you apply that same upgrade mentality across every category of your life, the total lifetime waste can easily exceed $200,000. That's not a small number. That's a down payment on total financial freedom. The rule here is to define what functional actually means. Something is functional until it genuinely cannot do the job it was bought to do. Boredom is not a malfunction. Wanting something newer is not a malfunction. A shiny advertisement is not a malfunction. The only thing that makes something actually broken is when it truly cannot perform the task it was designed to form. Everything else is just marketing, convincing you that you have a problem you do not actually have. Here's something that most people never think to do. They rely on willpower to stop themselves from overspending, and willpower is one of the worst tools you could possibly use for this. Willpower runs out, it gets tired, it collapses under stress and emotion and exhaustion, and the moment it collapses, you are clicking buy now on something you do not need at midnight. The smarter move is to change your environment so that the right choice becomes the easy choice. Remove your saved credit card details from shopping websites. Delete the shopping apps from your phone entirely. Unsubscribe from every promotional email that lands in your inbox. Stop walking into stores unless you have a specific thing you actually came to buy. On the savings side, set up automatic transfers to your investment account the moment your paycheck lands. Before you see the money, before you touch it, before your brain gets a chance to find somewhere to spend it. Keep only a small amount in your everyday account. Make saving the default and spending the thing that requires extra effort. This one structural shift matters more than any amount of financial motivation or self-discipline. A system that makes the right thing automatic will always beat a person trying to manually make the right decision over and over again while tired and stressed. The 24-hour rule alone changes everything. Before buying anything that is not essential, you make yourself wait a full day. That's it, just 24 hours. Research shows that roughly 70% of purchase impulses completely disappear within a day if you do not act on them immediately. Most desire is just noise. The 24-hour rule lets the noise fade before your money follows it. Here's something that sounds extreme until you actually try it. Count your possessions. Pick one category and count every single item you own in that category. Write the number down. The results will shock you. How many shirts do you actually own? Most men guess somewhere between 10 and 15 and then discover they have 40 or more. How many kitchen gadgets? How many pairs of shoes? How many items in that junk drawer you never open? How many books you finished years ago and will never open again? The act of counting alone changes your behavior. The moment you know you own 47 shirts, buying number 48 feels completely different. The absurdity of it becomes impossible to ignore. You cannot unsee it. Set limits for yourself. Maybe 30 items of clothing total. Maybe 15 books at any given time. Maybe a strict one-in, one-out policy where bringing something new into your life requires removing something that already exists. These limits create a healthy friction that quietly prevents accumulation from creeping back in. Before you commit to owning something, try renting or borrowing it first. This applies to almost anything. Want to get into camping? Rent the equipment for the first couple of trips. Want to try woodworking? Borrow tools or find a local space where you can use them. Want a kayak? Rent one several times before you ever consider buying. This approach does two powerful things. First, it shows you whether the interest is real or just temporary excitement. Most new hobbies feel thrilling at the beginning. A significant number of them fade within a few months. It is far better to find that out while renting than after spending thousands on equipment that ends up decorating your garage for the next decade. Second, it teaches you exactly what you actually need before you spend money on it. First-time campers who buy before they go almost always buy the wrong things or way too much. Renting lets you learn what matters before you commit your money to it. Here is something that almost nobody accounts for. When you make one major purchase, you almost never just make one purchase. Every big thing you buy drags a whole ecosystem of other purchases in behind it. A boat needs a trailer. The trailer needs a vehicle with hitch. The vehicle needs an upgrade to handle the towing. Then there's storage, insurance, registration, safety equipment, cleaning supplies, and the right clothing for being on the water. What started as a single purchase multiplied into an entire category of ongoing expense. A home gym needs flooring, mirrors, storage racks, and often some kind of renovation to make the space work properly. A motorcycle needs riding gear, a storage solution, maintenance tools, and often a truck or trailer to transport it to the places worth riding. Before any major purchase, you need to calculate the full ecosystem cost, not just the sticker price. A $5,000 item can easily become a $10,000 or $12,000 commitment when everything it pulls along with it gets added up. That calculation alone will stop a lot of purchases in their tracks. And the reverse is equally powerful. When you get rid of one major possession, you often eliminate an entire category of costs with it. Sell the boat and the storage fees disappear. The insurance goes away. The registration goes away. The maintenance costs go away. The savings extend far beyond whatever you sold it for. Here's the trap that catches almost every high earner. They never decide what enough looks like, so no matter how much they make, they keep spending more. Their income goes up, so their lifestyle goes up. The new lifestyle quickly becomes normal, so they need another income increase to feel like they're making progress. This cycle has no end. It can't have an end because the finish line keeps moving. People earning $300,000 a year can feel just as financially stretched as people earning $80,000 because their expectations expanded at exactly the same pace as their income. The way to break this is to decide what enough means before you get there. Decide what kind of home genuinely is enough, what kind of car genuinely meets your needs, what level of comfort actually satisfies you, and then earn towards that fixed target instead of constantly redefining it upward. This might mean deciding that a $350,000 home is enough even when you could eventually afford $600,000. It might mean deciding that a $30,000 car is enough even when the people around you are driving $70,000 vehicles. It might mean deciding your current wardrobe is enough even as your income grows. When someone defines enough at $60,000 a year in spending and then starts earning $150,000, they are building wealth at a rate that most people can't even comprehend. That $90,000 gap between what they earn and what they spend goes directly into investments, directly into freedom, directly into the ability to walk away from anything that doesn't serve them. Stop measuring wealth by what you own. That's the old way of thinking, and it keeps people broke their entire lives regardless of what they earn. Start measuring wealth by what you are free to choose. Can you walk away from a job that is destroying you? Can you take 6 months off without panicking? Can you start a business without a guaranteed income? Can you say no to opportunities that pay well but cost you your peace? Can you retire before you're 65? Can you handle a financial emergency without going into debt? These choices are real wealth, and they are only available to people who have built real space between what they earn and what they spend. The man earning $200,000 but spending $195,000 has almost no freedom. He is chained to every paycheck. The man earning $80,000 but spending $45,000 has extraordinary freedom. He can absorb a shock. He can take a risk. He can make decisions based on what he actually wants rather than what he can afford. Every purchase you make is not just an exchange of money for an object, it's a trade of freedom for a thing. And you need to ask yourself every single time whether that thing is worth what you are actually giving up. Finally, most people who attempt to simplify their lives do one giant clear out, feel incredible for a few weeks, and then slowly, quietly accumulate right back to where they started. The purge felt productive, the drift back went completely unnoticed. 2 years later, they are exactly where they began. The way to avoid this is to make decluttering a regular habit rather than a once-a-year event. A quick look at incoming items every week, a deeper look at one category every month, a broader assessment of overall trends every 3 months. Catching accumulation early when it is still small is infinitely easier than waiting until it is taken over again. 3 items out per week is completely manageable. 300 items out once a year feels impossible and usually gets postponed forever. Regular review also builds self-awareness. You start noticing which categories always seem to grow. You start recognizing which emotional states make you want to buy things. You learn which marketing tactics work on you specifically, and awareness is the most powerful prevention tool there is. Here's what most people never realize about all of this. It works in both directions. Owning less creates more money, but having more money also makes owning less feel completely natural. When your savings are growing and your investments are building, and you actually feel financially secure, the urge to keep accumulating stuff gets quieter and quieter. The emotional hunger that drives most spending starts to fade, because most spending is not actually about the thing being purchased. It's about trying to fill the anxiety that financial insecurity creates. It's about trying to feel like you're doing okay. When your bank account actually proves that you're doing okay, you stop needing to prove it with things. This creates a cycle that builds on itself. Spending less means saving more. Saving more creates security. Security reduces the emotional drive to spend. Less spending accelerates saving even faster. Each step feeds the next one. The opposite cycle works exactly the same way, but in the wrong direction. Spending everything creates anxiety. Anxiety drives more spending as temporary relief. More spending deepens the anxiety. The cycle tightens until something breaks it by force. The choice between these two cycles matters more to your financial future than your income ever will. Men earning significant money while trapped in the destructive cycle end up with nothing to show for decades of work. Men earning modest money while riding the virtuous cycle end up with genuine freedom. That apartment at the beginning, the one belonging to the man earning $52,000 with 18 months saved and investments growing, that belongs to someone who chose to apply these ideas consistently. He didn't get there because of exceptional income, he got there because of exceptional clarity about what actually matters. The other apartment, the one belonging to the man earning $95,000, who is 2 paychecks from collapse, that belongs to someone who never once questioned the idea that more stuff equals a better life. Both paths are available to you right now, regardless of what you currently earn.